Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm Darkjack, and in this video, I'm going to give you my honest opinion and review about the new game Bioshock Infinite after completing the game on normal difficulty. So unlike some people who just play the game for a few hours and then give the review, I'm going to give you an informed review about the game. And I'm not going to give away any spoilers about the game. I'm just going to talk about the gameplay, the graphics, and the mechanics of it, and whether or not you should buy it. And I beat the game in around 10 hours. The game itself is around 8 to 12 hours long, which is standard for a single-player game. It's around the same length as the previous two Bioshock games, and I only died once because of a glitch in the game. And the gameplay itself is very forgiving. If you fall off a ledge, the game will just teleport you back to where you fell off, and if you die, Elizabeth can just revive you. And the difficulty in this game is a little easier than the previous two Bioshock games, and the gameplay itself is almost exactly like Bioshock 2, where you have a weapon and a tonic, which is a special ability, and you can switch between two weapons and two tonics of your choice. And Irrational Games has revised or improved the formula rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, because they have a winning formula and they're sticking with it. But they've added several big additions to the game, and the two biggest of those are the Skyrail and Elizabeth's Presence. And the Skyrail is an awesome gameplay mechanic that they've added, where you can ride around the land of Columbia on a Skyrail. So you use a hook which is attached to your left hand, and you can ride around the place, and it's really fun to use. It's like a roller coaster in the sky, and you can also use it as a weapon, so you can jump down and melee enemies, which is a lot of fun. And Elizabeth, from time to time, will give you ammo. She'll give you salts, which power the tonics, and she'll give you money. So when you're scavenging around, she'll throw you a coin from time to time, which can interrupt the flow of the gameplay because she's always throwing you coins, and it can get a little annoying since it's not very much money anyway. Now, the graphics in the game are absolutely beautiful. I'm playing the game on the Xbox 360 version, and it's not quite as sharp as the PC version, but it still looks great. And you can tell that the developers did the best job that they could working with current generation hardware. So the game is fantastic to look at. It's a very well polished gameplay with very few glitches. I only ran into one or two glitches throughout the game, and you can tell that they delayed the game until the spring so that way they could spend as much time as they could polishing it. And the voice acting is great, especially from Elizabeth. You can tell that they put a lot of work into Elizabeth. They put as much work into her as they did to DeWitt, which is the character you play as. You can tell that they put a lot of effort into the lighting effects in the game. When you look at the water, you can see the light glisten off the water. You can see the reflection of the sky in the water. But the graphics in the game are not perfect. You can tell that there are texture pop-ins in some places in the game when you walk around. The game uses the Unreal Engine, which they've done a very good job of using. And so texture pop-ins are common with the Unreal Engine, but hopefully that will change in the next generation. And throughout the game, there are a lot of 2D environments that are disguised to look as 3D. So when you look at the flowers, when you look at the vegetation in the background, it's almost all of it is in 2D, but they disguise it to make it look like it's in 3D. And the best feature of the game is the story. This is a story-driven game, and Ken Levine, who is the game director, has a background in writing stage plays. And you can really tell that in this game because it has an awesome story, and the ending is amazing as well. And this game emphasizes exploration and scavenging. If you want to have fun playing this game, don't just rush through it. You want to take your time, and you want to explore the game because there are a lot of side places and optional missions for you to do. And there are lots of houses and buildings to explore, and voxophones hidden throughout the game where you can listen to into conversations that inform you about the background of the game. And if you buy Bioshock Infinite, don't do so because of the first-person shooting. Do so because of the story. Because there are better first-person shooter games out there. So if you want a shooter game, this is not the game for you. Instead, Bioshock games are games for people who want a good story and to enjoy a game that revolves around a good meta-narrative, which has a good beginning, a good ending, and a good overall sense of where the game is going in. And the ending of the game is really going to throw you for a twist, though I'm not going to spoil it. So if you want to play this game, do so for the story, not because of the shooting mechanics of the game, which are certainly above average, but I don't think they're anything special in their own right. And if I were to score the game, I would give the game a 9 out of 10 for a single-player game. It's certainly not a perfect game, but it does a great job of utilizing current generation hardware to give you a convincing and detailed and enriching story. So a lot of reviews for the game have been extremely high. This game has got a lot of perfect reviews. I would not give this game a perfect review, but it's certainly a good game overall. And I think the reason why this game has gotten a lot of good reviews and perfect scores is twofold. First, the game got a exclusive review through IGN, and they gave the game a 94 on console and 95 on PC. And so because of that, I think a lot of review sites are jealous. And so they've given the game a higher score than IGN as a way to advertise their ability to do exclusive reviews as well. So they're saying, we can give the game a higher review than IGN did, and so they should have given the exclusive review to us instead of them. And the second reason why is because a lot of video game reviewers play a lot of shovelware, which are games that are not very good. They're just licensed games that come out from time to time to make a fast buck. But Bioshock Infinite is not that way. You can tell that they spend a lot of time working on this game. And so this game is a game that is worthy of a high review score. And this game does not have online multiplayer. If it did have multiplayer, I think it could have been really great. But they chose to focus on the single player instead of working on multiplayer. I think a multiplayer mode for the game could have worked out really well, because there are certainly a wide enough selection of weapons and tonics for multiplayer to work, and they could have used recycled play spaces from the single player to work in multiplayer. But I'm glad they chose to focus on the single player instead of making a multiplayer game that was just there to satisfy the demands of first-person shooter players. Even though it would have been really fun to call in the Songbird as a kill streak after killing a certain number of players. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys later.